This is Katelyn Liu, and I'll be walking you through the 4th grade worksheets for lesson 27. The first worksheet you should have in front of you should say subtract unlike fractions. The first that we're looking at is 5 out of 6 minus 1 out of 3. And you'll notice that you can't just subtract the numerators like usual because the denominators are different. And so let's list the multiples of 3 and 6. We have 3, 6, 9, 12, and on. For 6, you have 6, 12, 18, 24, and on. Right off the bat, we notice the least common, the smallest number they have in common is 6. So we have to use 6. Now, let's see, 3 times what number gets us to 6? 2. And so you do the same thing to the numerator, and you get 2. 6 times what number gets us to 6? 1. And so you do the same thing to the numerator, 1. 5 out of 6. Now we have to minus 5 out of 6, minus 2 out of 6. Denominators are the same, minus the numerators, which makes us 3. Now, as we've known here, 3 and 6 are both multiples of 3, which means you can divide them both by 3, and that you now get 1 out of 2, which is your final answer. Next worksheet should say mixed review and test prep. The first question says, list the factors of 7. Is 7 prime or composite? Prime means that there are only 2 factors, one of which is 1 and the number itself. Composite means that there are more than 2 factors. And so we're looking at 7 here. We could start with 1 because we know that 1 times any number is that number. So 1 times 7 equals 7. 2 times nothing will give us 7 because 7 is not an even number. 3 times nothing will equal 7. No, 4 doesn't work either. 5 doesn't work. 6 doesn't work. 7 doesn't work. And so 7 only has 2 factors, one of which is 1 and the other which is itself, which means it is a prime number. Number 5 wants us to turn this improper fraction into a mixed fraction. And so you're given 10 out of 3. And what we do here is we list out the multiples of 3. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. And we have to find the number that is closest to 10 but not over 10. So if we think of this as a timeline, 10 is right here, approximately, or actually more right here. And so what number is closest to 10 but not over 10, and a multiple of 3 would be 9. And 3 times what number gets us to 9 is 3. So this is our first step, 3. Now we have 9, but it's not 10. We want 10. And so the difference between 9 and 10 is equal to 1. And we account for the difference right here, over. And the last step is to take the original denominator and move it over here. So your answer is 3 1/3. Continuing on for mixed review and test prep, we have this word problem that says Crystal has 11 out of 12 cup of sugar to make 2 cakes. The first cake needs 2 out of 3, and the second needs 1 out of 4. Does she have enough sugar to make both cakes? Explain. So there are 2 parts to this question. One is asking us to see if she has enough, and the second one is asking us to explain. Now, so what we want to do is add up the amount needed for the first cake and the second cake and see if it exceeds or goes over the total amount that she has. So we have 2 out of 3 plus 1 out of 4. The denominators are different, so we have to look for a common denominator. Multiples of 3 include 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. 4 include 4, 8, 12, and I think we see it. So your LCD, least common denominator, is 12. Multiplied by 3, multiplied by 3, multiplied by 4, multiplied by 4 is 8. So 8 plus 3 is equal to 11 over 12. And that is exactly how much she has here. So the answer to the first question, does she have enough? Yes. To make sure to, and then we can answer the second question right here. Yes, Crystal has 11 out of 12 cup of sugar, which is enough for both cakes. Now, the last worksheet that you should have should say extra practice with fractions. This one is pretty straightforward. Number 1 is saying 1 out of 8 plus 5 out of 8. And we all know same denominator means answer, and then you just add these two, 6 out of 8. But we know that 6 and 8 are both even numbers, which means you can divide by 2 to get 3 over 4, which is your final answer to number 1. Now, most of the questions on this page are about the same. The last two are word problems. I'm going to go over the last one, which is number 22. On Monday, 3 out of 10 inch of snow fell in Lay's yard. On Tuesday, 7 out of 10 of snow fell. How much snow fell in all? So they're asking us for how much snow fell on Monday and Tuesday, which is in all, in total. And when they say in all, it means you just add it. And so 3 out of 10 plus 7 out of 10 is equal to same denominator, same here, 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. And we also know that when you have a fraction that has the same number on the top and bottom, it equals 1, no matter what number, as long as they're same on the numerator and denominator. And since it is a word problem, we have to label and say 1 inch, because that's the unit that they used. 1 inch is your answer. And that will be all for today.